What's up with the tube? What up, snappers? It's Fizz. Subscribe to my channel. I want to talk about time and how it doesn't exist. It's man-made. People just use it for a reference. I was gonna use another word, but I forgot about it. And it's man-made. It doesn't really exist. People rely on time and depend on it a lot. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but time again just follows right around the sun, and when the sun goes up and when the sun goes down, just how mostly everything does. But time doesn't hold really no reference to an actual reality and what it is. A lot of people don't even need time, depending on who it is and where they're at. Of course, there's circumstances for everything, but again, it's just a following of the sun. Saying it's 2 o'clock doesn't mean anything. It just means where it is in the actual sky. Again, saying something, when you tell somebody I'm going to be in 15 minutes, what is 15 minutes and how long is it actually is, and what does that even mean? You only have a reference to what 15 minutes may be similar to or like, and this is because you just like watch the clock and you might have a feeling of what 15 minutes is like, but it's more optimal, I guess, to say a little bit. But then how long is a little bit? You should question everything. But time doesn't exist. Again, time is linear, and people think the time is now. Whether you want to think about the future or the past is up to you, and you should be in control, but it doesn't pertain to what's going on in the natural moment. A lot of fear is created from the past, and more so when you think about the future and things like that. Again, you should focus on the current moment, or at least be in control of what you're thinking about. When people say it's going to be an hour or something like that, we don't even know what an hour is like. We just follow what we may think the hour is like, especially when you have a watch or a clock that you're following. Again, time doesn't exist. It's made up. I was gonna say something else really interesting. Again, it just really doesn't hold value to reality, and you could even go to the point saying it's not needed. It can be good for measuring something, I guess, if you'd like to measure something, if you'd actually want to. But again, it doesn't really exist, and I had an example what I was talking about, but freaking forgot about it. But anyways, I just thought of something else. Animals and plants, again, time is linear, and animals and plants, they're not worried about how long something's going to take. They're going just to do that act. They don't follow the clock. They more so would follow night and day. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to touch in real quick. We do have a biological clock in us, so that's why maybe we could feel, to me, you might be able to relate to this in some way. When I kind of know instinctively what 15 minutes feels like, or how much time has kind of passed, and I could tell you maybe the time of day just by looking at the sun, which kind of obvious too, but I also know what the weather's going to feel like. Even though I'm inside, my body's just acclimated, if you would say. I know what it's going to feel like. I know what weather's going to come for the day. Even though we're not talking about weather, but I do know the time of the day just by the feeling, when I just naturally know. Again, it's pretty much, we do have a biological clock in us that goes with the sun and the moon, and the ups and downs and the rises and falls of these two. So that there is a clock that, and that does almost works automatically, just like how you wake up. You didn't wake up unless you set an alarm. You didn't wake up at a time. You woke up because you woke up. If it was dark out and maybe it got sunny and the light hits you and you woke up, okay, you woke up because of the sun. But other than that, you woke up because you woke up, unless you did set an alarm. Now, that's what I wanted to talk about on a glimpse real quick, because time doesn't really matter. It's just something to relate to or compare, but that can throw you down the rabbit hole very far, and you can probably talk to Alice while you're down there. She's tripping on heroin. Anywho, this bird, every time I walk past, it's always here. And I'm on the railroads right now on tracks, and it's just, this bird looks like it got like a collar around its neck, and it's always making that sound, if you can hear it. But it got like this white and black collar right around its neck. I don't live in the jungle, but I'm right on the railroads right now, and I swear every time I walk past here, there's this little bird on the rocks. Like, there must be a food source here or something, which kind of hard, but he's always making that. Okay, apart from the video, now back to it. Animals don't follow time either. Again, they just follow their natural biological clock rhythm that goes on inside of them, and they have no existence of time whatsoever. Nor do they just have everything instinctively, naturally built into them from what their parents did and their species are. Again, there is some adaptation to that, certain sequences, but for the most part, they're not keeping track of time. They aren't keeping track of time, and they're just going with the sun and the moon and how they're reacting with the environment. And yeah, they don't base their lives off a clock, how long something's going to take. They don't time nothing or compare anything, and they're just living for that moment. So that's all I like to expand on that situation. I hope Hope I've made my point across. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a like if you don't give a fuck about time. Give me a thumbs down if you stare at the clock. And it seems like every minute is daunting you. Like a bad haunted house that you had to walk through. Leave your tall tale below. I'd love to hear the experience. Subscribe, like I said, and I take video requests, so if you have any, let me know. I'm a raw dude. I based all of it off experience, and just like I said, I could never base it off a man-made time. It'd more so be experience. Just again, like the calendar, it's pretty much the same, real similar to how the clock works. And it's even more funny that they know when the moon is going to be in certain ways, in certain phases. And just because it's June 31st of 2019 has no relevance between June 31st of 2018. It's all, every day is completely new. Same with every minute. Time is linear. It's always going. Always going. You're not going back. It's just always moving forward perpetually. And it doesn't stop. No day is the same. You might have some resemblance or some feeling towards how something might be, but that's just because your body and mind like to connect certain things and build in memory in that format, and that's how that works. So it's basically an illusion, but it's up to you. Be aware. I do raise awareness, and I like to tell the soul truth. And don't take my word for it. Experience for yourself and question everything. Thanks for tuning in, snappers. I appreciate it. Have a video request, hit me.